Hi YouTube, it's Elizabeth. It is day 6 and day 2 of the government shutdown and fucking with us more. um, we talked about that more today and about the CDC and stuff like that. But in any news, let's see. Had one class today, and okay. I am in a politics of race and ethnicity class, and we are reading. Our professor wanted us to read. Is that what it's called? Hold on. It is. I'm sorry. Beliefs and Goals of the Radical Racist Right. Was a chapter. Is there cause for alarm? This chapter 3, infuriated me to no end. I originally wanted to do my undergrad in Holocaust studies. I've always been fascinated by the Holocaust. I have probably 20 books about the Holocaust, and I've done extensive research since a young age. And so I was reading this chapter, and they started talking about, how whites feel they're a dying race, and how that if they don't need, it was quoting somebody, and he said, if they don't do anything about it, then, they're just gonna get bulldozed over, and blah, 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 blah. And then they went into the fact that Jews were worse than mud people. And then how Jews caused affirmative action and the issues with our country on race. And by this time I was fuming, but it got worse. Then they started talking about Hitler and Mein Kampf. Now, I was not your average 5th grader. When everybody else was doing projects on JFK and Martin Luther King, in 4th grade I did 2 projects. I did a project on John Kennedy, and then I did a project on Martin Luther King Jr. And everybody was doing those projects in 5th grade, and I didn't want to do the same thing as everybody else. So I chose to do a project on Hitler. And as any rational 5th grader would do, I went to the library and I got a copy of Mein Kampf and started reading it. Now, I will not argue that it was well written, but the man was crazier than a box of rocks. So, but he was saying in this book that I was just reading, he was saying how people were reading Mein Kampf and gaining a perspective from it. It infuriated me. I was so mad. I have to about these readings. I have to do a blog post before the class, and we were supposed to have a question in the blog post. My blog post was I was infuriated to the point where I had problems writing. I will give you an example. I wrote this. I found these articles fascinating and enjoyed reading them. And then I go in to explain what a couple of the passages were. And then I say, quote, the Jews, Kelsen holds, are mortal enemies of the white race because they are race mixers and polluters who are working towards something I'm not going to say on camera. So I said, now, I've read a lot of things and have had extensive research into the Holocaust, but what? This is the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. The blame game is not something new, but to blame the Jews for affirmative action and our country's inability to solve issues of race is insane. How could people think of that? How could people think this? How logically do people see this as right? It flabbergasts me how people, after the Holocaust, could look at Mein Kampf and see logic to Hitler's insanity. I meant to say, is it a mental defect? But I was so upset I didn't even look. It says, is a mental defect after the within their brain to see this? Having personally read Mein Kampf when I was in 5th grade, it flabbergasts me that people see logic from it. And I have to tell you guys, when I was in 5th grade, I was not sure if it stuck. By 5th grade, I was reading at college level, so it infuriated me. And I literally was so mad. I went for my walk today, and of course, I came home early because I hadn't eaten anything today, and so I was like hungry, and it was also getting late. But I was so mad. I wanted to run. At one point, it made me so mad that I said, this is why people become introverts and would go away and put themselves in a bunker and not come out. Because I hate ignorant people. There's no need for your ignorance. And if you're going to put it into the world, you might as well just keep your ideas to yourself. Because no one needs ignorance. And as case in point in the government shutdown, your ignorance is not needed. Please go away. Thank you. Obviously, people voted for Obama. They wanted Obamacare. They re-elected Obama. People wanted Obamacare. So, I don't... The causes and the effects of the shutdown are just ridiculous. The causes. You're putting our country more into jeopardy by shutting down our government. But, oh no, it's fine. What do you care? You're still getting paid. You're still making money. But that's enough for my rant today. But your ignorance is invalid. And if you're gonna be ignorant, keep it to yourself. Do not spread that hate throughout the world. We don't need any more people like that. So, be nice to each other. YouTube, okay? Love you. Have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow.